On your journey to being the king of the pirates, you have defeated countless enemies, ranging from some of the most powerful pirates in the world to others that are trying to make a name for themselves, just like you. Over time, you have built up your small crew with people you trust more than anything in this world, a group of people that have dedicated themselves to you. No matter what the situation is, you have always been there to back them up, to be there to protect them, so they don't die in the wake of your goal. And so far you have done that, beating 2 warlords of the sea and one of the world's most famous assassins. And you come to the place where it feels like your real journey is about to start. You are about to enter the new world. But before you can accomplish that, you run into a reality that you have faced before but haven't come to terms with: the strength of the world government. So when you act out against a racist noble, you suddenly put the lives of your entire crew at risk. When the world government sends some of its top-ranking members to eliminate you and your crew, you realize just how outmatched you are, telling your crew to run away. But it doesn't matter, as Kuma makes them disappear one by one, until eventually you are next. And then, the next thing you realize, you are on an island that you have never seen before, with your crew nowhere to be found. This is the fate of the Straw Hat Pirates at the beginning of the Marineford saga, and an important moment for the development of One Piece as a series. In this episode of the One Piece vlog, I want to dive into what makes this moment so important. I have talked at length over the course of my One Piece vlog that One Piece feels like an outright comedy at times, and that is one of the most important parts of the arc I just reviewed, Thriller Bark. And as dark as Alabasta and Water 7 got at times, I never felt any real fear for the fate of the Straw Hats. People don't die in this series very often, but what is almost worse than a character getting beaten is having the crew get separated. So far in the series, the crew has been together for the majority of each arc, but now they have been separated indefinitely. Even though One Piece is obviously Luffy's story, up to this point it feels like the story is more focused on the Straw Hats as a whole instead of just their captain. But all of a sudden the story pulls back to just Luffy before it explodes into the larger world of the Paramount War, reaffirming that even though the Straw Hats are all protagonists to some extent, this is still Luffy's story, and Luffy needs to get a lot stronger if he is going to stand next to the heavy hitters in the plot. Since the beginning of the series, we have seen the giant gap in strength between the Straw Hats and the strongest members of the world, highlighted with Mihawk at the beginning of the series. But even after Alabasta, Skypiea, Water 7, and Thriller Bark, Kuma comes in and reaffirms just how weak Luffy and the crew is. Kuma's introduction at the end of the Thriller Bark saga shows that even though Moria is a member of the 7 warlords and Luffy has beaten Crocodile, there is a gap between the strongest and weakest warlords. And then it happens. Panic starts to set in as Luffy realizes that he is not strong enough to protect his crew, and he tells them to run. Ending with all of them being sent to different islands, being fully separated for the first real time in the story. Yes, there have been moments in the story at the beginning of an arc where the crew splits up, but they have never been separated to different islands for years to come. Separating the crew like this with their individual and collective strength being far outmatched gives us something we don't have yet in the story, a chance for the characters to form their identities outside of the crew. Yes, everyone has their own interests and histories, but now they are all wanted pirates, so they all need to be able to stand on their own, and this is the chance for all of them to do that, so hopefully Luffy won't have to carry them. A chance to define their own individual legacies before they return to the crew. This moment reminds me a lot of when Pito first shows up in Hunter x Hunter, which I made an entire video about that, so go check that out. A moment in the story that hits out of nowhere and changes the landscape of what is going to happen moving forward. In this case, the valley of difference in the Straw Hat's strength compared to the top fighters in the world, and the fact that for the first time ever, Luffy was unable to save the people he cared about. Narratively, we take a step back from the crew and the larger goal to instead focus on the leader of the Straw Hats and Luffy's own willpower and individual motivation. Even though more characters are introduced during the war to come, the story sharpens its focus to the Straw Hat Pirates, to the captain of the crew. Luffy also starts to come to terms with his inability to save everyone no matter the situation. Since Water 7, the crew has hit some rough patches, with Usopp and Robin leaving the crew for a time, facing more difficult opponents, and getting into situations that have dire consequences. And here, with Kuma, the last string falls and the crew is forced to regroup. This moment takes everything that we have become so accustomed to in One Piece and turns it on its head, allowing for the story to go in a new direction, and creating an avenue for Luffy to lift the Straw Hats back up and move the series into the future. If Luffy does want to become the king of the pirates, and the other crew members to support him while supporting their own goals, they must become stronger. Not only to strengthen their fighting abilities so they can go up against stronger opponents, but they need to become stronger mentally as well, so they will be able to withstand the heartbreak that is bound to come with an adventure this dangerous. Kuma giving these pirates, and the story of One Piece itself, a chance to evolve. I hope you guys enjoyed this shorter episode for the One Piece vlog. I wanted to do a more video essay style to highlight this moment. The moment is kind of horrifying, but also I think it signals change for One Piece to come, and I think that is really important. Obviously, this moment is likely going to lead into the time skip, but I think without separating the crew, One Piece was probably going to write itself into a corner, especially with the development of Luffy to come. And at the time of recording this, obviously I have my first One Piece discussion. Hopefully you guys check that out. It's with me and my brother, who runs a channel called Movie Meals. That came out on Monday, and we basically talk about kind of growing up with the 4Kids dub and our thoughts on the pre-time skip One Piece. So I hope you guys check that out, and as of making this video, I've actually, next week will be the review of the Marineford saga. I'm just getting to the time skip right now, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys thought about this moment when you first read it, because for me it was just mind-blowing. I didn't think the crew would ever get separated. But more on that next week as I kind of just talk about my thoughts on the saga. So I'll see you next Thursday for the next episode of the One Piece vlog.